Hello, this is Bishop Garland Hunt. This is the Power of Hope devotional. Welcome back. Sometimes I want to invite you to come visit me at my church. If you're in the Atlanta area, please come. I'd love to see you in person, 6060 Spalding Drive in Peachtree Corners, Georgia. Otherwise, please make a comment. If you're blessed by the word, just sometimes it's encouraging. You're doing this thing week after week, and just want to know you're there. I appreciate you doing it. I'll do my best to actually respond to you. I really will. So if you see this, just comment if you like, and share. If it's a blessing to you, then also share it. So let me go into this right now. Do you understand righteous anger? What is righteous anger? Now, most papers says that be angry but sin not. There are many scriptures in Proverbs that talks about not being angry, not letting your anger overtake you, and that you don't vent anger. It talks about that. But also, let me just ask you, is there such a thing as righteous anger? Righteous anger. Well, can I tell you a story in the scriptures? Can I go through it in the scriptures? Because actually I want to tell you the answer is yes. That there are times that the Lord is angry at his people for denying his word, for going against his word. And an example of that is actually out of Numbers 25. Can you jump over there with me, Numbers 25? Well, I'll give it to you. So here it says that there were Israelites who were camped in Acacia Grove, and some of the men defied themselves by having sexual relations with local Moabite women. They were having sexual relations. In King James, it says they were committing whoredom with the daughters of Moab. And so then it says, these women invited them to attend sacrifices to their gods. So the Israelites feasted with them, worshiped the gods of Moab. In this way, Israel joined in the worship of Baal or Pierre, causing the Lord's anger to blaze against his people. So the Lord gets angry. The Lord gets angry when we deny him. When we deny him to his face, the Lord's anger comes against our nation. It can come against our people, just like Israel. And I said this before. I want to be very clear. This is why we need a move of God, but we have to pray that we can ask the Lord to stay his judgment. So anyway, in this back here with this Israel, now think about what was going on. Israel, man, had been blessed by God, but they were related to these women. And sometimes you have to be careful. You relate to these silly women. These women will draw you away from God. And maybe I'm talking to somebody, but understand, be ye not unequally yoked. If you're a Christian and you fool around with somebody that's not a Christian, and they draw you over into their infidelities and their vulnerabilities and their foolishness and their debauchery, so therefore you'll fall with it. This is what happened. So it says, so the Lord issued a command to Moses, seize all the ringleaders and execute them before the Lord broad daylight with fierce anger, and turn away from the people of Israel. In other words, I want you to kill all of them. This is what he said. And then he said, each one must be put to death under your authority who have joined in worshiping. He said to the leaders, if anybody is under your authority that is joined together in this whoredom, that's joined together with these women, is joined together to serve the Baal of Peor, I want you to cut their heads off. And then so the Israelite men, a Midianite woman, and so let me just see what happened. After this kind of thing was breaking down, there was also, by the way, at this time, 24,000 people died. 24,000 people died. So this was a curse that was apparently coming. And then right in the midst of God's judgment, one of the Israelite men brought a Midianite woman into his tent right before the eyes of Moses and all the people, and everyone was weeping in the entrance of the temple. So right in front of a move of God, the standard of God, a man brings this Midian woman, a Moabite woman, and flaunts her before everybody, goes into the tent with her. Oh my God, God already was bringing judgment. But there was a man named Phinehas. Phinehas had a holy anger. And that's what it says. Look what it says. I want you to write this anger. It says, when Phinehas saw a son of Eleazar, grandson of Aaron the priest, saw this, he jumped up, left the assembly. He took a spear, rushed into the man's tent, into his tent, and Phinehas thrust the spear all the way through the man's body and the woman's stomach. So the plague against the Israelites stopped, but not before 24,000 people died. He had a righteous anger because God was judging them, but because of it, he saw the sin that was done, that was being flaunted before all of Israel. God's judgment was apparent. He grabbed up his spear, he ran into the tent, and obviously they were together, and he put the sword between, went through the man that went all the way through the belly of that woman. But he had a righteous anger. I'm telling you right now, someone needs to have a righteous anger in prayer. You might not have a spear, but you got to have a sword of the Spirit. You have to be serious about God, because we cannot allow our nation to go over to judgment. 24,000 people died. How many people have to die before we have a righteous remnant to come forth? This is Bishop Garland Hunt, Power of Hope Devotional. I'll talk to you next time.